Look at Jade.
That's kind of wild.
Whoa.
Wow, how does that? Huh. What's up, everybody? Welcome to In Love with Horror. My name is AJ.
I'm Chrissy.
And y'all, welcome back to another From Reaction. Of course, you know we got to continue the season because the third season's been pretty good, I think. Of course, we're coming off of the last episode where, Dale messed around and found out. And now the community is in a state of like, oh, shoot. Like, we probably should be listening to Boyd. We probably shouldn't be messing around with things we don't understand. And hopefully in this episode, we'll get just some more communication and try to discover some more things. We are now on the back half of the third season. So hopefully we can start pushing things forward, getting some answers. I don't know if that'll start with episode 6, but I'm hoping that this doesn't feel like another filler episode. Because I feel like last episode kind of felt like a filler episode. I don't know how you felt about it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. All right, y'all. So with that, let's go ahead and jump into From season 3, episode 6.
What are you doing?
I like moments like this where it's kind of like, kind of normal.
Like,
They're in
well,
the bedroom,
it's showing them trying to make normal out of the situation.
Yeah.
When I was out there, I should have done more.
Girl, I gotta get out of this bed.
Right. It's like, come on now. And really, nothing else you could have really did except not freak out and let it and get to that tree in the park.
Yeah, that's what she should have did.
That's what she should have did.
That's a crisp white tee.
They got good laundry services in the From community.
That's new. That just came out the pack. I can tell by the thread.
What you want is for me to read your mind.
Come on with it, Jim.
Shut up.
That's why you...
That's why what?
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
That's why you wanted a divorce.
Oh, she's the one that wanted divorce.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kids for a year while
I
you
don't
were
like
doing
Tabitha, but it's my first time with her.
What?
This is
Jim,
good. This
Jim
is good.
acting.
This is a good scene right here.
Yeah. He was going.
I like that
He was
part where he
going
was
in.
getting out of bed in bed.
Yep.
But that was a really good scene. I
It
like
was.
seeing that aspect of their relationship because
Right.
obviously,
What
when
they're
they
dealing
came
with.
in, they were on the brink of divorce.
Mhm, they were.
Yeah. So
I thought you said you had something exciting to show me.
that's more than what you got.
Wasn't a portal tree, but it still had bottles hanging.
You're like, see, why you just not telling me about
Right.
this bottle tree? This is why we need y'all to talk.
Yeah, they got to communicate. You need to break that rule. They got that rule. It's like first rule in From. You don't talk about From.
For a bit if she wants. All right.
I love Victor, man. I swear. He's my favorite character. And then there's Jade after that. But I love Victor.
You've done plenty, really. You should go home.
Can't what am I gonna do? My mama
Right.
gone.
I ain't got nothing else to
I don't
do.
got nothing to do.
He trying to, occupy his time with work.
Yeah.
That ambulance came in fully stocked. There was a portable ultrasound on board.
Ooh.
Oh.
Well, please, let's see what she got now.
It's going to be a little From baby.
A From baby or not.
It's going to have like claws or something.
Oh, Lord. It's probably gonna be, I don't know. I'm not gonna guess. I was gonna say maybe it's something not
It's going to have a tail.
a potato.
I said it's going to have a tail.
Oh, I thought you said it was a potato.
It might be a potato. I don't know.
Okay. We cannot do this alone.
He reminds me of like them actors that be on those soap opera shows.
I guess the way he talks. Yeah,
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Come on.
Okay, good job, Ellis. We get some talking going on. I'm loving it.
Yeah, they're talking this episode.
Sure, he had some shitty remark on his way out.
He did.
Yeah, he did. Yep, that's him. I feel like there's a lot of people there.
It is.
It don't seem like there's a lot of the town is full of people.
Answers from you. I just needed you back.
That's it. She's being way too extra about it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Oh, Madonna's on cracker.
Yep. She's like, hold on, let me bring it back together real quick.
Go down into the tunnels where these things live.
It's so pretty there. I love snow, y'all. Like snow is I just love it.
Yeah. I think because he didn't grow up around it.
Maybe
I feel
that's
like people
what
who grew up
Don't
around
like
it,
snow,
they don't
yeah.
care for it. Because you never had to like shovel a driveway and do stuff like that.
No, I never had to do that.
Really quiet.
All right, here we go. Henry about to get a look inside the cave. If they're in there, because I feel like they went in there before and they weren't in there.
It was on the ambulance that came into town. That's what I.
She like, I don't want to see it.
Yeah, I don't know about that. But it's like you'd want to, if there is a problem, you'd want to know.
You want to
now.
know exactly.
No, we'll do it tomorrow. Or tomorrow. We'll go.
She getting on my last damn nerve. Ooh,
She's just so scared.
I know,
Yeah.
I know, and I get that, but in this particular case, you got Shinobu.
Right, yeah, you got to find out right now. But I get it too, because what if there is something wrong? It's like, well, what are we
Now
going
what
to
are we
do
gonna
then?
do?
It's not like we
Yeah.
can perform surgery in this piece, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's fine.
he mad. He's just over there stewing.
It's his villain origin story.
I want to see it.
No, you don't. He gonna be mad. Ooh, I'm not ready. Oh God. Also, Team Boyd. I don't want nobody to not be Team Boyd. You know.
Right, that's what I'm saying. He going to be very much
Look at her face.
against Boyd.
She do not want to give him this mirror.
Because it's like all he's got left, you know.
Mm-hmm.
At least they didn't touch that stuff.
Well, I think they had enough respect for her not to do that.
Right, yeah. I wonder if he's going to want to move it.
Well, he probably doesn't want to be there at all. It seems like he didn't want to be at home, like be there. You know.
Yeah.
He told you be quiet.
Close your mouth, Dad. Close your mouth.
Is everything gone? Seems very empty in there.
Ooh, they move stuff. Wow. Oh, that's crazy. I told you, man, this entity is smart as
Yeah.
hell now. He ended up taking pictures of
Oh,
people
that's
now.
cool. I
That's
ain't never
cool.
seen that girl before. Have you?
I'll be scary and bad.
Okay.
She like, you took that at the wrong time. Watch it be something weird with her picture or something.
That's what I was thinking. Now, someone said they saw something in Elgin's photo, but we haven't gone back to check or anything.
Okay.
Those were completely different.
How so, Jade?
I wish
But
I
it still means
understood
something.
the meaning of these apparition things. These, you know, for him, and then, you know, Father Khatri for Boyd.
Yeah.
Like, what's the purpose behind these things? Like, are they a part of their extension of their own
Like,
mind?
are they actually see them within their
Or-
mind, or is just the internal conflict?
Yeah.
Maybe you should sober up and give
I
that
agree
guy
with
a
that.
call.
So he can think clearly.
Right.
Something is hindering him from, because he has, I think he does have the mind for it, but I do feel like all that drinking is actually clouding it.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
And I was thinking earlier when I saw Julie, I was like, oh, you know, there's no school here. But then I go back to thinking like Ethan's the only kid that's here.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. She's seeing shit. Oh, it's the kids.
Oh, Kiwi.
There it is.
Oh, it's one of the
cool. You haven't heard
kids.
that in a while. She gonna
Oh,
fall
she
down
gonna
the stairs.
Lord Jesus. Okay, she's not falling. Oh, they're coming from all directions. I wonder if we can figure out what that word means.
Right.
I wouldn't even know how to spell it. Like, I wonder if it's like something that's backwards or something, you know?
Yeah. Probably just a phrase for something.
You're not still throwing those sex parties up there, are you? Because
What? There were sex parties?
What the heck is going on up there?
Oh, shout out to someone in the comments to let us know that real life Donna and real life Dale are actually a married couple.
Yeah, I saw that in the comments. Yeah. That's crazy.
Why are you pretending you're okay?
Oh, that's right, because they were both messed up.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck is real anymore?
That's a good point, Randall.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Well, that was nice of her.
Right.
And I also guess it makes sense to be around someone who experienced something that you also experienced.
Right. I think that does help. That's why he's like, stop pretending like you, all right?
It's crazy that there is like this elaborate cave system.
Right.
I guess he also feels compelled to stick with
There's
his
a-
child, but here's all the
Like a
stuff.
table and stuff in there. Okay, they
Guess
set everything
they
up
did-
further.
They moved it down.
Further down. There he is. Jasper.
I want to call him Slappy so bad.
Yeah.
He's just sleeping.
I don't know.
But it's just one of them. Ew, look at his
And it
face.
sleeps in vampire mode or whatever. I mean, monster form. He gonna hit something. He
Yep.
gonna knock something over.
Why is he coming in? He's just trying to get what he needs. You just stay there. What's he see? Something in Miranda.
Oh my God. Shut your mouth. He never seen a monster before.
You know, Victor, keep coming down here.
Oh, and she's gonna let him go?
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird. She said that was weird, right?
You keep coming down here. One of these days, we'll make you stay. That's
But she
interesting.
let him go.
Yeah, because she could have got the drop on him.
Yeah, that's a very weird thing. It's almost like maybe that's why he survived so long.
Yeah.
Because it can't bother him or something.
Sit here.
Yeah.
He scared, boy. He done pissed himself.
Yeah.
So we got to get him to Jade. Maybe that thing will talk to Jade. Because he's experiencing similar things to Christopher. Maybe Jasper will talk to Jade.
Does it actually talk? Did he actually hear him tell the story?
I mean, he saw his mouth moving and everything.
Sweetie, I'm so sorry.
I don't need you to be sorry. I need you to look again.
I need for you to calm down. It's kind of like, not kind of like,
Maybe she got to look somewhere else. Maybe it's not, I don't know.
oh, not in the uterus?
There's something weird, you know? I would be like, look, you need to look over this whole avenue.
Tell her. Wait, I don't know what I was
It'll
gonna
come
say.
back to you. He gonna see something.
Obviously.
Because they really building this.
Come on,
They really
Elgin.
building this shit up. Oh, there it
She
is.
was over top of her shoulder.
Is that Fatima?
I don't think it's her.
I can help you go back home.
Yeah, I don't think that's her. It's just
Just
appeared to
happened
her
be
that
there?
way.
Okay.
Appeared to him that way. But one of the things that we talked about on this panel we did with Nadia was that
Oh,
they're
okay, so he's
drawing
not there
out
no more.
Elgin's storyline.
Oh yeah, they're drawing it way out. I was just kind of wondering why it chose to be seen in Fatima's picture. I think that's kind of weird. All the other pictures he took. It's a little strange. Now I'm wondering. Wait, what?
In the vision.
No.
The heck? Is that her?
It's her as a kid?
When I was a little girl,
Here we go.
I would have the same nightmare.
It's a nightmare.
Is she what's her name? Eloise? What's the little girl's
Oh,
name?
Victor's sister's name?
Yeah.
It's true.
Wow.
at Jade.
That's kind of wild.
Whoa.
Wow, how does that? Huh.
No, they didn't.
Well, you knew that was going to happen.
Oh
I
my
could've told you that.
god. I can't believe they did
you know,
that.
ending on such a big thing. I already knew they was going to cut it short like that.
No, I don't know. I won't say I wish they had dropped the whole thing, but when they leave us hanging with stuff like that, it's like
Right. Yeah. That's crazy. All right. Well, let's talk about this episode. All right, y'all. Welcome to the spoiler discussion for what is this? Episode 6 of From. So for our audio listeners over on Spotify and Apple, we just got done with the reaction to this. So if you're interested in seeing the reaction, head over to the YouTube channel where you can see our reaction for this episode. Because this was an interesting episode. It had a lot of different story elements that not necessarily move things forward, but just added to the pile of mystery to try to like maybe figure out what's going on. But yeah, so let's dive into talking about this episode. So off the top, I always like to ask, like, how did you feel about the episode overall before we dive into the details?
yeah. I mean, I think this was a good episode, but I feel like this was also kind of fillerish in the aspect of what revelations might have come out could have easily been added into last week's episode. Like,
Oh yeah,
I feel like it wasn't enough to be like, oh, this was such an impactful episode to the story. Kind of like what you were saying, it doesn't really move the story forward. Kind of just adding in some other pieces. But I mean, overall, I thought it was a good episode.
yeah. I agree. I thought it was a better episode than the
yeah.
last one because of that fact that we got a little bit more pieces that
Yeah.
help push the story a little bit. Obviously, nothing grand was revealed, but
Well, some semi.
I guess grand and like we
Clarity.
can actually make
Yeah.
make sense of something.
Gotcha.
We
Yeah.
still can't make sense of anything. But I still like the episode. I still like the stuff that they did give us. And this felt more like a full episode, not so much like a filler episode.
Yeah.
So all right, let's dive into the specifics then. At the beginning of the episode, we had that interaction with Tabitha and Jim.
Which I love.
Yeah, that was really good. First of all, the performances were really good. And there's just like some insight, like we said, into like seeing how they're reacting to everything without, it's the moments between where they're actively trying to figure stuff out.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really like a really well done scene.
Yeah. And also when Ethan kind of like relayed that back to how things were better when we were scared, and now that things are
Becoming
not
normal.
Then we get back to how things used to be, which he's like, I'd rather y'all be scared of shit so y'all can stop
So we can
fighting.
actually be almost like a family.
Yeah.
Yeah, because now you're more focused on just gotta protect the family, and we gotta work together and be together.
Yeah.
Now that it's normal, like you said, like, oh, they're just laying in the bed. Like
Yeah.
she got up looking out the window, come back to bed, you know.
Yeah.
Now it's
I
more
thought that
normal.
seemed-
Now we going at each other.
We're going
again.
at each other. There was some really good heightened moments with that, like the point when Jim put his finger in
Yeah,
her
she
face and
smacked-
she smacked
that
it.
was super
I was
funny.
like, this seems so real, like a
Yeah.
real argument between a couple. And we both were like, you know, we can't imagine what it's like to lose a child and the impact that it makes on a relationship or marriage or whatever. But I thought that was a really good opening scene.
Yeah.
And like you said, giving us more insight into what happens, you know, when you're not in your
In the
flight or fright
downtime.
mood
Yep.
or whatever.
Yep. And then moving forward to the episode, we saw, of course, Boyd talking to Jade while Jade had, like, you know, he got his cardboard up. He's got all the notes from that tree posted on the wall. And he's like, letting Boyd know he's trying to figure this out. What's going on? And then Boyd drops, oh, what about the other tree? And Jade like, the other tree? What are you talking about?
And this gives us what could happen when people actually talk about things. Because it's not even like, oh, well, the show wouldn't be this without, you know, if they communicated more. But I mean, it's not like he solved everything by knowing that. But,
Yeah.
you know, now he's able to go do even more investigation because he has a little bit more to work with.
Yeah.
It's not, I'm not saying, I think that having some sort of communication just is helpful across the board. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that.
Oh yeah, and I'll give the show this one because the bottle tree thing probably didn't really seem significant. So
Yeah.
like, you know, in this instance, the only reason he brought it up because he was like, oh, you're talking about bottles and trees, and you're working on this one. Like, have you used the other one yet? You know, so like I'll give the show that one in that instance. But I feel like there's way grander things that have happened where they didn't communicate.
Yeah.
And so maybe they need to have just like a reoccurring meeting where they sit down and like just go over everything. Like, what have you seen in this whole area that
Yeah.
might lend to something? I don't care what it is. Just
They could make,
anything
like-
that might have been slightly weird or different.
They can make like a board, right?
Yeah.
And similar to like what we like the board in the cabin in the woods where you have like different sections of different things that can happen. So in this
Right.
case, they would have a board with where were you? Like, I was in the woods and this happened. I was, you know, in the caves and this happened. It's not necessarily going to solve everything, but at least you know what areas things occurred in and what, you know, maybe getting closer to something. But yeah, I think that would be a really good
Yeah, they got to do
idea.
something like that because obviously, like, you know, there needs to be some way to get information out without you just waiting till somebody brings something up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was a good scene though. And then you know we get to you know, Henry was in Victor's room and Victor comes in and he was kind of like, yeah, I'm just, you know, I was waiting for you to come back. They start having a little dialogue.
Yeah.
And eventually Victor's like, hey, I'm about to go do something. And you know, Henry, at first Victor's like, oh, you can't come. But then he's like, well, you could just walk with me to where I gotta go. But at the time, we don't know where they're gonna go. But we know that, you know, they're
I
gonna
think
go
it's
off
pretty
on something.
clear that they were going where he was going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're going to go off together, right? All the scenes with Victor and Henry in this episode are really good. It's
They
cool to
are
see them
good.
together.
I mean, the actor playing Victor's dad, Henry, is like on top of it. Like there's we'll get to it later, I guess, but like his moments are just they're just really good.
Yeah. And so the next thing I wanted to bring up is Kenny in this episode. I feel like Kenny is very much just kind of like walking around trying to find stuff to do. Because then we see him at the clinic trying to be helpful. Later we see him at his parents' house looking for like a screwdriver or something like that. Obviously he didn't really want to be in there. Then we see him talking to Donna. And like I almost felt like he was just kind of like he felt very aimless. Like in this moment right now, he doesn't have a purpose.
He doesn't have a purpose, and
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised that Boyd hasn't given him something to do, knowing that he doesn't really have anything to do.
Right.
and I know he has a lot going on. And in this episode, we see him really showing up for Ellis and Fatima. But, you know, we left off with him knowing that Tension told him, I want you to, you know, look out for him. And
Right.
I feel like he's not really doing that right now.
Right. Nope.
But yeah, he is very aimless and looking for a purpose or something else to focus on over than the fact that now he's by himself. Like he came in here with his family and now he's alone.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we see that a lot, and eventually, you know, towards the back in the episode, he eventually asks Donna, like, "Hey, can I move into
Colony House.
the Colony House?" Yep. Then for a brief moment, we saw, you know, Boyd at the clinic. He's like, you know, checking on Randall, but he didn't want them to tell him that he was there and stuff like that. I get that, but she tells him that off the ambulance supplies, they got an ultrasound machine. So he's like, all right, you know, I'm gonna go tell, you know, Fatima and Ellis that. And now we get the scene with Fatima and Ellis, like, as you know, he's like, hey, we gotta like let people know about this. We gotta get some help. Like, let's talk to Christy about it. Let's talk to, you know, somebody about what's happening, so we can try to figure out what's going on and try to figure out if it's an issue, whatever the case may be. You know, obviously she's super hesitant to that. She's super scared, you know, all that stuff. And then Boyd tells them, Boyd shows up. It's kind of like, you know, there for them. Tells them about the ultrasound machine. And so they take off to go do that. And so we'll revisit that towards the end of this episode as well. Now with Dawn in this episode, you know, she's, you know, focused on building the kind of like grave site for Dale. Like she's building like a wall of rocks, like a nice, like, you know,
that was nice.
Nice looking pile of rocks around Dale to kind of like serve as a marker. But she also mentioned, like, you know, we don't want people walking by looking at this shit. And she was like, you know, I don't want people looking at this ruining their breakfast or something like that. So I think she was, you know, just looking out for everybody across the board, as well as with Dale in this one. We have that moment with her and Tabitha where Tabitha was talking to her. Tabitha gives her a hug. You could tell that Donna has that like, oh, I need this, but I always got to remain hard at all times. Yeah. Except for in front of Boyd, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
I think Donna's at this point where she's just tired of loss. She says, oh, Dale was a pain in the ass for 2 years, but that's 2 years that you were with someone in this extremely terrifying, hard situation.
Yep.
You can't help but care about that person, even if they were a pain in your ass. And you can see that moment, like you said, like she obviously wants to feel that loss, but she at the same time can't. Like she has to keep going and showing up for everybody else.
Right.
And I feel like that's just been her thing. Like she's always showing up for everybody else. And Tabitha taking the moment instead of walking away and actually giving her a hug, because she knows that she's needing that hug. And she never said, oh yeah, he's my friend. But Tabitha says, I'm sorry for the loss of your friend. Like she recognizes that. Yeah, it's been 2 years.
If you're the only one here doing this, obviously cared about this person.
Exactly.
Yeah. But no, I agree completely. And then jumping forward, we got the moments between Randall and
Mari,
where, you know, she was helping him out, taking the bandages off, checking sure it's not infected. And we see a lot of like vulnerability with Randall in this moment. Yeah. Because eventually he's like, oh, I want to see it. You know, she gives him a mirror, she walks off.
Just like
and he looks at his face.
Not Joker. The Two-Face guy in the Batman series.
Oh, right, yeah.
When he finally saw his face.
Yeah. So he looks at himself and he has that moment of like, it's like a multitude of emotions of like anger, sadness, like just this feeling of like, man, my face is jacked. But also I think there's a feeling of like, you know, morality in that, where it's like, dang, I almost died, but I'm still here. So I think it's a lot of elements, and I think that plays into, you know, how he is later when he's talking with Mari, saying like, hey, are you good? Because they were both under the spell of the place or whatever. And he's just kind of, you know, he actually almost like letting someone know like where he's at, like he's jacked without really saying it. Yeah. And, you know, he kind of even made the comment of like, man, I'm alone on that bus, like da-da-da-da, like, you know, really being vulnerable to not fully, but enough to where, enough to where some, you know, people are getting it, because this is the first time he's ever gotten to that sort of level. And eventually he's, you know, he asks, she invites him to just stay at the clinic.
With them. Yeah. I like that moment too. Like you said, him being vulnerable and, basically saying like, I don't want to deal with this by myself.
Right.
And he also made this point of saying like, what if it's not over? Like, I don't want to be by myself dealing with this shit if I gotta face it again.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So I thought that was cool. And then later on, he does that again with Julie.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like the banding of the people who went through this thing together.
Are connecting.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So they have that shared common ground where they can somewhat confide in each other and then have that relatability so that he doesn't have to be, can loosen that like super hard asshole exterior.
Yeah.
Yep. And then of course we get where as the show is progressing, Henry and Victor get deeper and deeper to this cave. Towards the middle of the show, they reach the area where everything should be, and they realize it's no longer there. So Victor's like, "Hey, we got to go deeper." You know what I'm saying? And of course, Henry's super hesitant because this is all new territory to him. But it was just weird because they're like, everything was here, but now it's not. So we'll get back to that later. But it was super. At the time, it's like, oh, that's strange. Like,
yeah, it was strange.
Why is that happening?
Yeah.
And there's a lot more to that, and we'll bring it back up later. And then let's see what was like the next big thing. Of course, we get Jade going to the second tree, and he sees the bartender. I cannot remember his name, but he has a conversation basically. And when we were reacting to this, you were kind of saying when Jade or Boyd is seeing the apparition of a friend to them, like, is that them actually seeing them, or is it just a metaphor for the internal conflict that they're having with themselves? So in this one with Jade and the bartender, he's talking about like basically saying like, hey, you were a tech genius that built a multi-million-dollar tech company. He's like, but now you're a drunkard essentially. He's so like, what are you gonna do? Like, if you want to actually figure this thing out, you got to sober up and da-da-da-da. Jade actually said, was like, well, damn, that's thanks for being direct about it or being blunt about it. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that was a good scene. I think it eventually will get to that point where he does like try to sober up and get a clear mind. Because I think you always say it, and I agree, that Jade will be the one to figure this out. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I think people will help. Like, I think low-key they think Ethan is just there, like, hang out.
No.
But I have a feeling he will figure something out.
I think Ethan has a mind similar to Jade's. Yeah. And because he is good at puzzles, I think he will actually be helpful. Also because he has a very close relationship with Victor. And a lot of things he's learned about the place, he's learned from Victor. And he probably knows more than everybody thinks he knows because he's learned it from Victor. So I think it's going to take one of those moments where, like you say, he'll say something that will maybe spark something for Ethan, and he'll be like, oh, Victor told me about this or whatever. So I think people actually listening to Ethan is a good idea, especially since Victor's off doing whatever the hell he's doing right now.
Right, exactly. 100% agree. Okay, so jumping forward now, when Tabitha had that conversation with Donna earlier in the episode, Donna mentioned to her, like, because, Tabitha was saying, like, I feel bad because I don't got no answers, da-da-da-da. Like, being real extra about it. And Donna's like, look, like, your kids thought you were dead. Like, just be a mom. Like, just be here. So she goes back to the house and trying to, like, be motherly to Ethan.
And he there by himself.
Right, he really was.
Jim is gone. Jim went off to the garden.
No.
He went to the secret garden.
Yep.
And Tabitha was out scrolling around. And Julie out getting high. So Ethan's just sitting in the house.
Sitting in the house by himself, just reading the book about there was like plants or something. I don't know. I think it might have been one of
Tinchin's
books.
books.
Tinchin's books. Yep.
Yeah.
But while she's having that moment, she hears a bunch of like footsteps upstairs, and then she goes upstairs and she sees the hallucination of the kids. We haven't seen that in a while. They're doing the whole Unkui thing again.
Unkui.
Yep. So that was a little creepy scene, and obviously she's like, I'm trying to help you. I don't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? Ethan comes up. He's like, are you good? Like, and then she's basically just like, oh, let's get out of this house. You know what I'm saying? So
that's how they end up going to help Jade.
Right. And so it was cool to see like those kids come back and have that moment.
Yeah.
And then like like I mentioned before, Ethan's now kind of like helping out Jade with the numbers. And in that scene, he also mentions like, the numbers from the second tree directly line up with the numbers from the first tree that's got the the portal in it. So it's all about trying to figure it out. He's talking about like some numbers are repeating the different patterns.
Yeah.
Like it was all super weird. So that's kind of where we leave that at. Like Ethan's looking at numbers, and we'll come back to kind of the last piece to that involves Tabitha in a second.
Also, I wanted to make note that the papers in the bottle tree that they recently got, which I want to know how the hell he got them bottles down.
I ain't worried about that. He probably found a way. He probably just threw rocks and cracked them and took those papers out.
Those papers look really old compared to the bottle tree papers.
Yeah.
And the one that they first found. Like they look like they came out of like, really, really old times.
Right.
Like, so that was interesting.
Yeah, because they said, it said the 1800s. So was it 1864? Or you're saying they look even older than that.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Well, to me it looked really old, but I don't know.
But so yeah, there's that piece. We'll come back to them in a second. We'll jump back to Victor and Henry in the tunnel because something interesting happens down there. So they go deeper in there. They go mad deep, and they end up reaching another opening, and they now find all the stuff. So it's almost like the entity, the monsters took the stuff and moved it deeper.
Yeah.
Into the cave for some reason.
Yeah.
Now he gets down there. One of the monsters is asleep, and he sees Jasper the dummy. Mm-hmm. He grabs that, and as they're leaving, one of the creatures, the woman with the kind of like old 50s. School 50s hairstyle, mm-hmm. She's like, Victor, you keep coming down here. We might actually have to keep you down here or something like that. Mm-hmm. Which we both thought that was really interesting because like, okay, so. They just let him leave.
Yeah.
Now we heard the monsters and stuff waking up at that point, but I just thought it was interesting that like she didn't like try to get him or get Henry or anything. Like almost just like, hey, just know we're letting you go right now.
I have something to say about this, but I'm gonna wait until we get through the part about Tabitha.
Okay. Yep. So we'll revisit that, but that was super crazy. But they got Jasper, brought him back to the storage truck where Victor's got all that stuff in there. Henry's having the moment because that's his first time encountering the monsters. Yeah. Just being around everything, understanding that Victor was there by himself for a lot of the time.
That moment was really like gut wrenching.
Yeah.
Like, he almost broke down. He was like, you were here alone.
Yeah, because he's like, is that feeling of like, dang, this is my kid.
Yeah.
And like thinking about them by themselves, you're just like, dang, like, it's hard to hear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, Victor's like, hey, look, we got to get Jasper. Because what he said was Jasper told Christopher, like.
Also, he heard him tell Christopher this.
Yeah.
He says.
And he said he told him, like.
A
story about this place. And so, Victor's like, oh, we're going to get it to repeat that story again. Yeah. Obviously, Henry's like, oh, this is a toy. Yeah. He's like, don't worry about it. I saw him do it. I heard him do it. We're going to get him to do it again.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that plays out. But in this episode, that's where we leave Victor and Henry.
Yeah.
And then I think the last big thing in this episode is two big things. Yeah, you're right. Two big things. So the first big thing is Boyd, Fatima, and Ellis finally get to the clinic. Christy breaks out the ultrasound machine, and she starts, looking in there, and there ain't no baby in there.
Nope, no baby.
She said there's no baby. Obviously, Fatima's like, that's impossible. You need to keep looking. She's like, look, this is where it's supposed to be, and nothing is there.
There's nothing there.
So everyone's, freaking out about that.
I actually didn't see this coming. Prior to this, well, when she pulled it out for something that hit me, like, oh, what if there's nothing there? Mm-hmm. But prior to this, I always thought, she was pregnant. Like,
right, yeah, something
just weird with the baby. So this, I'm wondering, like, where is this going? Type of thing. It's almost kind of like. Well, no, because in that one I was gonna say Midnight Madness. Well, not Midnight Madness, Midnight Mass, where, she went to the doctor to get her ultrasound and she didn't have a baby either. But I think she was pregnant at one point in that one though.
I can't
I think she was. But anyways, it's very similar story. So I'm just wondering, like, okay, what is the play now? Like, okay, she's not pregnant, so why is she having cravings?
All
why was
symptoms.
because she took how did they find out she was pregnant?
I can't even remember now.
I think she took a test, right?
I feel like she did, but I can't remember.
I think they had a test or something like that.
Yeah, I think
y'all let me know in the comments because I can't remember right now. But either way,
they had proof somehow.
They had proof that she was pregnant, right? Yeah. And so why is her body reacting this way if she's not actually pregnant. Now, I know you can have like heightened hormones that mimic pregnancy. So I'm wondering, did she eat something or something that's causing her body to act as though it's pregnant? And if that is the case, why is she craving blood and rotten food and, basically decay? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so I don't think they'll go that route. What I'm thinking they might go the route of is like, this baby maybe it can't be seen on this technology. You know what I'm saying? Because like it's almost like I see all these hallucinatory stuff.
Yeah.
What if it's in that wheelhouse of like
Her baby's in another dimension?
not another dimension, but even just like some sort of apparition? So it's like you're pregnant, but you ain't.
That's weird.
You know what I'm saying?
Well,
'Cause
the show is crazy, so I'm not going to say that it ain't possible.
Right? Yeah. Because I'm like, well, because there's no other way you could explain having all those symptoms, and like, why would they lead you to believe that she's pregnant for so long?
Yeah. Guess we'll find
unless.
out. Hopefully.
Unless she's not really pregnant, like you're saying, maybe she's just turning into a monster or something from
okay.
for some reason.
But that's why I said I need to remember how they found out she was pregnant. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I said two big things. This is kind of a third big
It's
thing.
not really a big thing.
Oh, you don't
I don't
think so?
think it means what you think it means.
Oh, okay.
But anyways, go ahead.
It's like because I'm clicking through the episode, y'all, to kind of like remind us like the different things that we saw. So obviously, the show continues to drag out Ellis's storyline.
Elgin.
Elgin, sorry. The show continues to drag out Elgin's storyline, where he's taking all these Polaroids around the house of different Colleen House members. He takes one of Fatima earlier in the episode, and then he's hanging them on this string in the house. It's like a collage. He looks at Fatima's photo and he sees the apparition that he always sees of the woman, and it's like standing behind Fatima in the photo, and then she like sneaks up behind him and is like whispering to him I know she said I can help save.
Yeah.
I can help get you home. I can help save you or something like that.
But she said, help me first. Help me first. And then I can help you and help save everyone.
Right. Yeah. So obviously some people were thinking originally that this apparition was Fatima, right? Now at first I was like, nah, it can't be. It's because they don't look similar.
I still don't think so.
But I just think it's odd that the show decided to show the apparition next to Fatima and then it appeared to him.
I think that's a red herring. And I'm going to tell you
weird.
Because I think a lot of some of the things that happen in the show, including one thing we're going to talk about in a minute, I feel like they just wrote that shit in there because people were talking about it from the earlier seasons. And I honestly think they're using this as a red herring because people have said that this was Fatima. But I don't think it is.
Yeah. But that's because it's just weird. Like you can see the photos hanging on the string. He took probably like 10 photos, but it just so happens to be that he's looking at the Fatima
but she was
one.
behind her. I feel like if he picked up the picture of Fatima and then her face was the same face as this woman, then I'd be like, oh, it is. But I feel like since she was off behind her, it doesn't really make it seem like...
Yeah, but it's like she's next to her, right?
She was behind her. She
Well,
wasn't
yeah,
like
like
standing
behind
next
her.
to her.
Yeah. But
Either
it's
way,
like,
I'm going to hold on to my thing. I don't think it is.
yeah, I'm like,
I get that what you're saying.
Yeah.
Though. It is weird.
it's just weird though.
I just think it's a red herring.
It could be, but I just think it's super odd that that's what they're choosing to do, especially just given the context of everything. Like her not having this baby now, or not appearing
Possibly
pregnant.
not being pregnant. Yeah.
So like it's possible red herring, but I don't think the show is like that good at red herring stuff. So I think that's kind of weird.
I don't know.
But
We're
we'll
gonna
see. Yeah, we'll definitely see. And then we get to the big last thing where, Jade and Ethan and Tabitha are all in the bar trying to figure things out. And Tabitha's sitting there looking at something that Jade drew, and it's of the wards that were outside of that other village that they went to. And she's like freaking out looking at it because she's like, and as she's looking at it, the show is showing these. At the time, we don't know what it is, but it's a little Tabitha like walking around the area. She's like, yo, were there three stones in a circle in this area? And he's like, yeah, why? And then she, proclaims that, I think at that point is what she realized, because she had a recurring nightmare as a kid of her being around these 3 red stones in these wards, hiding behind one and then seeing something. Obviously, they don't tell us what it is, but she screams. And so she realizes, just like Miranda, she apparently was having visions of this place.
That's
before
an option.
huh?
That's an option.
Right. She's having some sort of visions. She said it was nightmares, so she's having dreams, just like Miranda was prior to, getting to this place and stuff like that. And that's pretty much where the show instantly ends. And so now, what were you wanting to say about that situation?
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah, either A, that's what happened. She was also having visions like Miranda, or B, a lot of people have always guessed or theorized that Tabitha was actually Eloise and she just forgot, like lost that particular memory or suppressed it or whatever. So that's an option as well. But I do think there is a significant reason why Tabitha is so connected to Miranda. You know what I'm saying? Like with the bracelet, the songs, like we have these context clues that link this family with Miranda's family. And I think there's something big that is special about them or unique about them or something. Maybe it's the bloodline or something because of the fact that they let Victor go. Like they don't bother him and he's been there the longest and nothing's ever happened to him since he's been there.
Right.
So either there's some significance about Miranda and her kids as well as Tabitha and her kids.
Yeah.
Also, the fact that she has these visions of the place, the kids, and Miranda has these visions. Like there's something significant about these two families and that link them to this place.
Yeah. Well, I had to look back at the previous season where they talk about Victor's flashback when he saw his sister to see if they look similar. Because my initial thought is like, it can't be his sister because she's got like a full accent. They don't even look anything alike. Unless you're trying to say like, it's more of a embodiment reincarnation type situation. That's possible.
I mean, she could have gotten her accent because of who raised her.
But she doesn't even look like them. Like she looks nothing like Henry, Victor. I had to look back at Eloise.
I mean, these are actors, baby. This ain't real.
Yeah, but they would want them to be similar.
I guess.
You know what I'm saying?
Also, like I was kind of mentioning, this could also be something that they wrote in because of what everyone else was theorizing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's hard to, obviously we don't have enough to make a concrete, conclusion. But all we know is that as of right now, Tabitha did have dreams about this place,
She
just
did
like
have
Miranda
dreams,
did.
or it was a memory.
Yep.
Or it could be visions. And because I think some people were saying something about what if the person that's in the village was Eloise, but I was like, that didn't make sense to me. Why? Because she would know Victor was there, right? Like
Yeah,
she
you would
left
think
Victor
they
behind.
would go
Like,
look.
so why would she have not gone to look for him?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know which way I'm leaning on that one, but I just know that there is some sort of significance about, Tabitha's connection to Miranda, obviously.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. We just don't know what that connecting piece is. Like if it's actual, family history, or is it just more like, or is there something else? You know what I'm saying? Like that is like the through line to that. I don't know. Maybe by the end of the season we'll know. We'll see what happens with the next episode.
Yeah.
But that was pretty much the end of that episode. It pretty much cuts right then once that revelation is made. I would be curious to see if they offer more information about her childhood, to see if there's anything that she, if it is like a suppressed memory situation, if they will like provide context to be like, oh, when I was a kid, maybe I don't even remember past a certain age or something weird like that. It really ain't no telling. But we'll see where that goes. But that's what we think about episode 6, y'all. I think it was a dope episode. Definitely like, going back up the hill as we climb towards episode 10, because there's 10 episodes this season.
I just feel like it's like we, uncover one thing and then it's like, oh, here's more.
It creates a whole new mystery
Here's
box.
more. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one thing about this show, because, the issue is they never give us any answers to things.
Yeah.
Like there's so many
From the
there's so
earlier
many
seasons.
open answers. Like I brought it up on the other panel that we were on Friday, where I was like, they've made comments about it in this season about the whole tent drag thing. From
Oh, yeah.
What was that, the first season? When Boyd and Sarah out in that tent, they got drugged literally like a freaking giant picked it up and like drug it across. Like, it's like, well, what was that about? You know what I'm saying? I'm wondering, like, do the writers even know what that was about? They're like, we don't even know. But they've commented on it this season, so I'm like, all right, maybe we'll learn something by the end of the season about
Hopefully so.
But remember the spiders that he saw?
Yeah, giant
and,
spiders. Wasn't they giant spiders?
I can't remember if they were giant or not.
I feel like they were big.
Yeah, so like with the webs on, like there's so many elements to the show that I feel like have not been answered yet.
Yeah.
But hopefully we'll start to get them as we get closer to episode 10.
Also hope that, I think I mentioned this at the beginning of our reaction, like I want to see Jade, Tabitha, Victor, and Sarah all talk as well. And Boyd, but mostly those 4 people, because I feel like they have so much that
together they can figure it out. They combine the brain power.
Yeah.
They could solve something.
Yeah.
Might not be able to give all the answers, but they could solve something.
I think they can get us a little bit further down the line.
Yeah. But we'll see y'all. Let us know in the comments, what are you thinking about episode 6? What are your theories on things now that we know that Tabitha was at least having dreams when she was a kid? What does that do to your theories? Does that change anything? Does that add things? Do you think Jasper will actually end up talking to Victor, or will it take somebody else's influence to do that? Because I'm always wondering if Jay goes in there, he'll talk to him. Maybe, I don't know, because he's having experiences similar to Christopher. But there's a lot of questions. Let us know your theories and answers in the comments, y'all. Be sure to hit that like button, hit the comment button, hit the subscribe button. We got more content coming. We got more reactions and reviews. And of course, we do our news shows every Sunday. It's a lot of dope content, so it's the perfect time to subscribe, y'all. As you get closer to the end of the year, we have holiday horror, Christmas time, all that stuff. Holiday horror, movie time, all that. But y'all, thank you so much for your support. Thank you for tuning in. We out. We see you in the next one. Peace.